I would like us to reflect on today's gospel. But before we look at the gospel, I would like us to look also at the second reading. The first letter of St. Paul to the Thessalonians. Maybe to give a brief background on this reading. Paul, as he was evangelizing, teaching about Christ, spreading the gospel. In his teaching regarding the second coming was that in his mind, he thought Christ was to return during their lifetime. So he believed and taught the imminent second coming of Jesus Christ. So those who were receiving or who were hearing the message of Paul, they thought they would see Christ before they died. They thought Christ would return during their lifetime, then they will be able to meet him as he is, as he promised on the Gospels. But in their mind, they thought that would happen during their lifetime. But as time went on, Christ was not returning, was not coming back. It has been more than 2,000 years. Even now, we are still waiting for his second coming. So that was what was happening to those Christian communities where Paul was preaching. They thought Christ was going to come back or to return during their lifetime. But as time goes on, as time went on, people were starting to die. Then they were asking themselves, now that we are dying, our brethren are dying, but Christ is not returning, what will happen to those who have died? So that was the concern in their heart, that our brothers, our relatives, those who were hoping and longing to see Christ have died, even ourselves. Surely we are dying, seemingly we are aging, we are dying, but Christ is not returning. What will happen to us? Because we are willing and we've got faith that we'll see him as he is. So that was the crisis that was happening in Thessalonica. Those were the questions they were asking themselves. And so when Timothy comes to visit them, they raise those questions with him. What will happen to our brothers and sisters who have gone before us? Because we have hoped that they would see Christ before they died. So that was happening to themselves. That's the struggle they had among themselves. So when Paul was writing to them, as we have heard in today's second reading, the first letter to the Thessalonians, he's trying to clarify that issue, that confusion that was there. That don't worry about those who have died, because when Christ comes, he will first rise them from the dead, then they will meet him on the clouds, then ourselves will also join them, then we'll be together with him going to heaven. So that's what the theology of God after I was teaching them, that Christ when he comes, he will first rise those who have died, so that they will meet him, so that they will see him as they died hoping for. What is that saying to us? To me it says the Christian community at Thessalonica, in as much as they were still alive, but they had not forgotten those who have died. In as much as themselves they were still hoping and they had faith that Christ might come during their lifetime while they're still alive, but they had not forgotten that some of us who were with us, some of us who were sharing hope with us, some of us who were also longing to see Christ have died without having seen Christ. They were concerned what will happen to those brothers of ours who have died. How many of us are concerned about those who have died? How many of us are worried about those who have died? What will happen to them? Have they seen Christ themselves now? What has happened to them? Have they gone to purgatory? Have they gone to hell? Have they gone straight to heaven? What had happened to them? Last week, Father challenged us and said, if we are not teaching our children to offer mass for those who have died, what will happen to us when we die? Because if we are not doing ourselves, if we are not teaching them ourselves to be concerned about those who have died, they will also forget us as well. If we are not praying for those who have died, for those who are in purgatory, for those who are in need of our prayers, if we are not doing that, even ourselves when we die, no one will remember us. This was the concern for the church in Thessalonica, that our brothers have died, but we wonder what will happen to them. Because they were with us, they were longing to see Christ, what will happen to them? those were the contents for those about their brothers who have gone before us. How much are we content about those who have died? Going to the gospel, this is one of the famous scriptural texts in the gospel. It's Domi, as in show. We usually focus on these wise because foolish was they are foolish. Why are they foolish by the way? We usually despise them all this is Domi, this but again. There are some few things that I would like us to look or to reflect about on these foolish women, or these foolish virgins, or these foolish maidens, as the gospel puts it. In their foolishness, there's something we can learn. Because even in every foolishness, maybe there might be something we can learn. These women were also longing to see the bridegroom. They were hoping to see the bridegroom. They were going to the feast with the hope that they would see the bridegroom as well. But along the way, they made a mistake. They forgot to bring the extra oil. But initially, their intention was to see the bridegroom. They had good intentions, but along the way, they made a mistake. What I like about them is that after they have made a mistake, they did not sit comfortable on their mistake. When they rose, that now the bridegroom is coming, is approaching, they saw that their lamps were running out of oil. They did something, they attempted to do something, they tried to rectify their mistake because they've realized that they've made a mistake. But we cannot sit comfortable just because we've made a mistake, then we sit comfortable and enjoy our mistakes. We sit comfortable and complaining, we sit comfortable and pointing fingers at others, we sit comfortable and blaming others that we are running out of oil because of so and so, we are running out of oil because they did not give us their oil, we are running out of oil because they did not want us. They made a mistake, but they did not sit comfortable on their mistake. That some of us will make mistakes, but then we sit comfortable with that. What do we do after we've made a mistake in life? Because others, they made a mistake, then they start to blame others. My parent did not raise me well. My parent did not take me to good schools. My parent did not leave me with any inheritance. My friends did not connect me with those advertisements. They point fingers at others, blaming everyone else except themselves. They've made mistakes, but they are not taking responsibility for what they've done. These foolish women, they made a mistake, but then they took ownership of their mistake and they wanted to rectify it. What do we do when we've made a mistake in life? The second thing that we can look at from these foolish women, these foolish virgins, they said to themselves, our lamps are going out. They saw that what they possessed, they were losing. What they had in their hands, they were losing it. Maybe some of us are coming to Mass every day, but the lamp of our faith is running out of oil. What are you doing about it? That your spiritual life, your prayerful life, is slowly running out. You are running out of oil of faith, but what are you doing about it? That I'm no longer the person who I used to be, that prayerful person I used to be. I'm running out of oil in my spiritual life. What am I doing about that? Because at times we run out of oil, but what do we do about it? When those dry moments come to our lives, what do we do about it? Do we challenge ourselves, or we sit comfortable and we say, I'm running out of oil? They will come and recharge me. What are you doing now? Take ownership of that. The last point that I would like us to look at is that these 5 foolish women, had they known that they would need extra oil, they might have done something. Had they known, they would have done something differently. Maybe some of us are living in regrets. Had I known, I would have done things differently. Had I known this would happen, I would have done something differently. Some are living in regrets even in their old life about the mistakes that they've done in their youth, saying, had I known, I would have chosen a different career. Had I known my wife would still be with me, she would have not divorced me. Had I known, I would have done things differently with my spouse. Had I known, I would have done something differently in my company, running my company. Had I known, I would have done something different in my vocation. Had I known, I would have done things differently. Some are living in regret, saying, had I known. These women did not live in regret, saying, had I known, had we known, had we knew that we need extra oil, we would have brought those oil with us. Maybe others are living in regret, saying, ukube ngangazi ngangeke ngenze ngendlela engenza ngayo. Had I known, I would have not given myself to that person. Had I known, I would have not slept with that person. Now HIV positive, but had I known, I would have used protection on that night. Had I known, I would have not gone to that area. Had I known, I would have not done that. They are living the life of regret until they die.